Boy, come witness your father present another episode of Masterworks of Video Game Music. This time we will be traveling to long before you were born, in 2005, where the story of Kratos began. The original God of War set a new standard for action games, and its music had to equal that standard. So let us now explore how God of War's music helped to create a legend.
Santa Monica Studios.
Excuse me. Santa Monica Studios began the development of God of War in 2002 for the Sony PlayStation 2. Director David Jaffe used elements of Greek mythology to tell the story of Kratos, a Spartan warrior who seeks revenge against Ares, the god of war, for tricking him into killing his wife and daughter. The game enjoyed immediate success for its story, combat system, and gameplay. The soundtrack was written as a collaborative effort by 5 composers: Gerard Marino, Ron Fish, Winifred Phillips, Mike Regan, and Chris Velasco. Each composer contributed several tracks to the overall game under Jaffe's direction. The complete soundtrack, released separately by Sony Computer Entertainment, featured a total of 31 tracks and was available for free for players who had purchased the game. Normally, a single composer would provide the entire soundtrack for an individual game, such as when Bear McCreary scored the 2018 edition of God of War. As difficult as it would seem for 5 composers to be working on the same game separately, David Jaffe was able to guide each of them with the same direction. For this, he used the example of the character Medea from the Greek play written by Euripides in 431 BC. Medea's character is very similar to Kratos in that she is driven completely by revenge, killing her own 2 children when she learns that her husband has left her for another woman. A quote from the play illustrates the link between Medea and Kratos, stating that, "Whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad."
And Kratos cast himself from the highest mountain in all of Greece. After 10 years of suffering, 10 years of endless nightmares, it would finally come to an end. Death would be his escape from madness.
Because the character of Kratos is filled with rage and murderous intent, the majority of songs reflect the constant action and aggression of the gameplay. The orchestration involves a heavy use of brass and drums. Songs that exemplify this style include the Athenian Rooftop Fighting track, the Pandoran Cyclops Attack track, and the Minotaur Boss Battle track. Composer Gerard Marino contributed the most music to the game, providing 13 tracks out of the total 31 songs. Marino was also responsible for creating the main theme, in which he focused on the theme of Kratos' soul-consuming quest for revenge that he believes will ultimately bring him redemption. After consulting with a Greek friend of his, Marino created a motive using the Greek words eptikasi and literacy, which respectively mean revenge and redemption. Marino recorded himself whispering, chanting, and shouting these words repeatedly and put it into key sections of the game, resulting in the track The Vengeful Spartan. Ron Fish, who contributed 5 of the game's tracks, used environmental cues to reflect the dark atmosphere of Pandora's temple. This is displayed in the tracks The Architect's Mysteries and The Temple of Pandora. The 4 tracks written by Winifred Phillips provide an appropriate contrast with the more intense music of her colleagues, instead specializing in sections of the game requiring puzzle solving and exploration. Phillips spent time researching folk music in locations where much of the story is based, including Greece and countries of the Middle East. Ancient instruments such as the kithara and the lyre are used in tracks including Exploring the Ruins and the Underwater World of Poseidon. In addition, Phillips provided the singing voice of the sirens, who Kratos must destroy to get through the Desert of Lost Souls. Mike Regan and Chris Velasco both use an abundance of percussion instruments, such as gongs, chimes, war drums, hand drums, and other ethnic instruments to create a wide variety of sounds that immerses the player into the environments of ancient Greece. This is exemplified in tracks such as Athenian Battle, Zeus Wrath Divine, and Duel with Ares. The addition of the choir adds an epic dramatic quality that captures the spirit of action and adventure. Each composer uses their own strengths and is able to lend their individual talents to contribute to the game as a whole. It is sometimes difficult to believe that so many composers were involved in a single project and were able to seamlessly coordinate their efforts into music that fits together so well. All of the composers except for Winifred Phillips continued with the franchise, writing the music for 2007's God of War 2, and composer Jeff Rona joined the group for God of War 3 in 2010. The music of the original God of War remains one of the most iconic soundtracks in video games. It is frequently used in live concerts such as Video Games Live and other orchestras. When the next sequel was announced in 2014, film and television composer Bear McCreary was brought on to write completely original music and did not reuse any of the previous music from the series.
Even though the God of War series has dramatically changed since 2005, the music of its first installment will always occupy a special place in the hearts of its fans. So boy, what did you think? Are you ready to join my channel by liking, commenting, and subscribing? Boy?